It's Sunday evening. Normally we would have done best of the week yesterday, but the live stream was today, and now it's time to talk about the very best comic books that you could buy this very week. Returning from Chicago Fan Expo is Drew from Comics Lead. How you doing, Drew?
Doing great, Wes. I'm glad to be back. Chicago was an interesting experience, but at the same time, I did miss talking with New Comics with you. But let's talk about New Comics this week.
Did you at least get to experience a Chicago dog or some pizza?
I got some delicious Chicago pizza from Illuminati's. We got to break bread with Jay Lee during a Whatnot sale over some Illuminati's. Delicious pizza, and I couldn't be happier. Couldn't be more full after those nights. It was delicious, and the cold pizza the next day, beautiful.
The best breakfast in the world.
Absolutely.
Now we're ready for some comic book talk. First up, recommending The Magic Order, Volume 4, Number 6, Mark Millar, Dyke Ruin. This is the finale, at least of this story in particular. And we've got some pretty high stakes here. We've got Cordelia and her evil brother, Edgar. He's been released from his confines. He's got an army with him. And things go pretty off the wall here. I don't want to give away, I hate to give away big spoilers.
Yeah.
And it's hard to talk about this particular comic book because the way that Mark Millar ends this one, I'll give the guy this. He doesn't do what you think he's going to do or how you think he's going to do it. He gives you that satisfying conclusion. The right person wins in the end, but he always throws you for a loop getting there.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, I'm not going to spoil what happens, but effectively, how do you defeat someone who has, in the words of Emperor Palpatine, unlimited power? It's brought up a couple of times in this. I like that. The visuals in this are beautiful, from the deaths of the characters, to the views from space, to the armies engaging in battle. I love it. This was a kick-ass Magic comic, and I can't recommend this enough. This is one of the best Magic comics in the business, right next to this Strange Academy. But is this tying in to his big crossover event with the other titles? Because I don't believe
it's tying in, but obviously the Magic Order are in that one.
Yeah, I'd be disappointed if they didn't, because I think it'd be a lot of fun. It'd be one hell of a curveball to toss in there. But if you want to read a fun, awesome, kick-ass Magic comic with an ending you're not going to see coming, and you want to know how someone with unlimited power is going to be defeated, this is it. This is so much fun. Mark Millar knows what he's doing. He's the best.
He also, at the ending of it, the way that he ends it, he basically wipes the slate clean and gets you ready for wherever they're going next. So it's not over, and it feels just as fresh and imaginative as it did in the first volume.
Yeah, just new beginnings. You know, you said wiping the slate clean, setting things up for the next volume. It's great, and I couldn't be happy. He is one of the best storytellers right now in all media, and it's a shame, really, that these books aren't selling significantly more than they are, because they really should be. These are the best comics out there right now that he's doing.
Oh, yeah. If the Magic Order was selling better, people would be happier with their comic book experience the way it's going right now. Now let's go to another indie comic book, Void Rivals, number 3, Robert Kirkman, Lorenzo De Felici on art here. Continuation of the beginning of the Energon universe. We've got these two aliens. And it feels like they're moving towards something. These two are definitely going to make out. I feel like they're going to get married by the end of this thing. But they're filling out some pretty good story here. They finally put the pieces of their ship together, and wouldn't you know it, they get, I don't know if they're space pirates, but they get commandeered by somebody. They're going to get sold into slavery, perhaps. And then they get saved by an alien, or at least he helps them out. And it feels like some pretty deep cuts on Transformers. It's not a Transformer alien, but it's certainly from old school Transformers.
I don't want to spoil what the race is, but yeah, they are in Transformers lore. If you watch the old animated series, they are there. If you watch the animated feature, they are there as well. The visuals in this are beautiful. From the we get even more Transformer references in this. One, is an ancient race, and the other Transformer drop is a very familiar ship from the animated feature as well, when the Transformers are on a certain junk planet. That's all I'm going to say. But those are fun little Easter eggs I appreciate, and as an old school Transformers fan. Hey, we have two main characters trying to survive, and they're at the same time they're trying to trust each other. But can they still will they still be trusting each other by the end of this? Will one be betraying the other by the end of this? You got to read to find out. It was a fun read. They're fun characters. It's nice that I'm not just enjoying the Easter eggs of the Transformers stuff. I'm also enjoying the journey of these two characters. They're two very good characters, and I want to know where they're going to go. And yeah, like you said, Wes, hopefully they do. They probably will most likely wind up making out eventually. But by the end of this, not so much. The only downside to this, I think, of all the books we're going to recommend is that the interior art wasn't the best of all the books we recommend. I think it's the weakest, but it's not bad. It's good. But I do recommend Void Rivals, guys. Yeah, especially if you're a big, hardcore, like old school Transformers fan.
I'll give Robert Kirkman this. I imagine he was excited for Transformers. He's still the Easter eggs in there, but it's not overshadowing the story. And I think he's handling it right. He's juggling it all very well. Void Rivals continues to be a highlight in comic books. This next one is something I wasn't expecting to recommend. Oz Kingdom of the Lost, #1 from Zenescope. David Wool writing this one. Guillermo Fajardo and other artists. There's a whole bunch of artists on this one. When I think of Zenescopes, I think of really good, sexy comic book covers, and you certainly get that with Dorothy Gale on this comic book itself. And if you're not familiar with what they've done with Zenescope, you might be a little bit lost. I certainly was. But it's a really cool story. They come back, they're getting the band back together, but the Tin Man has been brought back to life, and it looks like he might be in some nefarious company. So there's a lot of elements of it that are very familiar, especially if you've seen the movie, maybe if you've read the books or whatever. But it's definitely telling its own independent tale, like fantasy adventure, based on the characters that you loved when you were a kid. And I think it's a really interesting thing. I'm almost curious to go back and read whatever came before this.
Yeah. So back to what you said originally. Yeah, Zenescope. Yeah, they've been one of the more interesting publishers, like Merc Publishing. Great, sexy covers with solid stories, more often than not. And this is the case here. This was a very solid first issue. Like you said, I love the setup for this because it's tragic and it's sad with what happened to the Tin Man. It's explained what happened. Like you said, it's explained what happened previously, and it's very sad to see what happened to the Tin Man. But we do see Dorothy. She has to get the band back together. I love that. But things don't go exactly according to plan, unfortunately. Yeah, the characters in this are terrific. Yeah, characters going through different walks of life, vastly different voices and ages with different motivations. This is hard work with characters you don't see at Marvel and DC anymore. And I truly appreciate it from a storytelling perspective. There's great action sequences in this as well with the various monsters and creatures. The art by Guillermo Fajardo, I think I pronounced that right, and hopefully is gorgeous. And the dialogue by David Wall and David Franchini is terrific. Yeah, this is a solid recommend all day, any day. This is one of the best comics this week. Please do check out Oz Kingdom of the Lost, guys. You won't be lost. It's a great jumping on point.
Yeah, on a comic book week, I was trying to find something else to recommend. Thankfully, a couple of my friends sent me a reader copy of this, and I was able to check it out. I was like, okay, at least we'll get 4 comic books in there because we're not going to recommend anything from Marvel or DC. Well, actually, we're going to do DC, but nothing from Marvel Comics whatsoever. Marvel Comics are so dead right now, it's not even funny.
It's not even funny, and it's sad when I read a lot of the books, and it's just they just don't. Tone deaf is what comes to mind. Just tone deaf. They don't understand what they're doing. They don't understand the stories that they're writing right now. Because especially when you get to the X-Men line, they're trying to fix the past of a lot of things, but it's like no. You can't be saying that when you said another thing with the X-Men line. Not too long ago. This doesn't work that way. No, you can't just swipe that under the rug. It's not happening.
Yeah, it's not a good time to be a Marvel Comics fan, but we do have one DC comic book recommendation in spite of Night Terrors, although I am going to torture Doc and make him review the Punchline book. Which
man.
Not a great thing to do to somebody, but we are going to recommend Batman Superman World's Finest #18, Mark Waid, Travis Moore. Definitely felt the missing Dan Moore art on this one. And I love this series. I have adored every issue of the series. And I am recommending this comic book. This is the weakest issue so far. I've seen the very first meeting between Batman and Superman more times than I'd like to recount. And I didn't particularly need to revisit that event. But it is interesting. It's fun. But it's nothing that I haven't seen before.
Yeah, I will agree. And like you said, no Dan Moore on the interior art. It really does stink. But I think he's been showing on Instagram a lot of art coming up from the next arc he's working on with the Kingdom Come characters. And I cannot wait for that. It looks amazing. But yeah, like I said, it's a placeholder story. You know, it's something to tide you over until the next arc, and it's not bad. And you know, with what's his name, Travis Moore? Yeah, Travis Moore on the art. His art style, it very much fits this type of story because this is a Silver Age-ish type of story he's telling here, and I love how he illustrates Batman in this. It has a great Silver Age Batman 66 look to it. There's a lot of blue in there. And I really, truly appreciate that. And I get a kick out of it. And it's just, and not just that, it's just great seeing Bruce and Alfred living in Wayne Manor, using the Batcave again. It's all elements that the current in continuity writers have gotten rid of because they're idiots. It's a fun story. It's nothing original. It's a good placeholder. If you want to see Batman and Superman at their earliest, and you want to see like some deep pull Superman villains, I'm not going to say who they are. Great stuff, guys. You're going to really enjoy this.
Yeah, nothing really groundbreaking from Marvel or DC, but definitely check out Batman Superman World's Finest. It's the best comic book that you're going to find out there. Certainly the best superhero comic book that you're going to find out there. Mark Waid's still doing great work. Hopefully Dan Moore returns soon. And we are going to get the Kingdom Come characters in the not too distant future. Now, you had a nice time in Chicago, but you're going to be going to New York Comic-Con soon as well?
Yes, New York Comic-Con in October, middle of October. It moves the 12th through the 15th. I will be there with Marat Michaels. There's going to be a big announcement from one of the major publishers. I'm not going to say who, but expect some little ash cans, I will say, maybe at the convention. We're going to have some preview books at New York Comic-Con, and he's excited. I'm excited. Yeah. It's going to be less than 2 months away from New York Comic-Con, guys, and you do not want to miss out on this. Trust me. Big stuff coming.
Drew says he's excited. Well, I'm excited about my channel. Love talking about comic books, whether it's the good stuff or the bad stuff. In fact, I've got over 3,000 videos now on my channel talking about comic books and pop culture. If this is your first time coming to my channel, or maybe you've come back and you missed some things that maybe you would have liked, YouTube has looked at the stuff that I've created and what you like to watch and decided this is the best video I ever created my entire life specifically for you. Definitely check this one out right now.